Well, let's bring in now Christina Pashin. She is Assistant Professor of Journalism at Northwestern University, and she joins us now via Zoom from here in Doha. Thank you for joining us on the News Hour. I just want to start by asking you about your family. I believe you're Ukrainian-American, so how's your family doing in Ukraine?
Yes, it's been a very difficult situation for them in Ukraine. Many of my family have decided to stay. Many are on the outskirts of Kiev, some are in Western Ukraine, and a lot of them have said they don't want to leave their home. They're not prepared to let go of Ukraine, and they're willing to fight and stay. So that's what most of my family are seeming to be choosing to do. A few have tried to leave for Poland. Unfortunately, one of the relatives, their young daughter, caught COVID right before, so she's not able to travel at this moment. So it's been a chaotic situation for many of my relatives.
You're a professor of journalism. What's your analysis of how the information war is being fought as this war happens on the ground?
Well, we're seeing two very drastically different narratives in both Ukrainian media and Russian media. As many of us know already, Russian media has been banned from using certain words to describe the war. They're not allowed to say the word war or attack or invasion. They are towing the Kremlin line that this is just a special military operation in the Donbass. Whereas Ukrainian media, it's a very different kind of tone. They're very much embracing independent media. They're very much embracing foreign journalists on the ground. Zelensky has been making, nearly daily appearances and video news to his people, trying to rally them together. And as a result, what I'm seeing on Ukrainian Twitter is that, yes, there's despair. There's also anger at Putin, but there's also this huge confidence that they're going to win this war and that Ukraine will prevail. So very two different narratives happening right now.
There have been protests in Russia in support of Ukraine and Ukrainians. How is the media that Russians are exposed to shaping their perception of what's happening in Ukraine?
Well, unfortunately, there's pretty much a media blackout in Russia. Only the state ones are allowed to operate, the ones who are towing the propaganda line. Yesterday, two independent liberal Russian media outlets were finally banned, Echo Moscow, as well as TV Rain. So any of the ones that are trying to show the truth on the ground in Ukraine are being banned by the Kremlin. So it's really hard to say to figure out what exactly Russians are hearing. But as you said, we do know there are a lot of Russians, thousands who are coming out to protest. There are different ways to get the media that bypass state channels, such as Telegram, YouTube, bloggers, etc. So I think we're beginning to see more Russians understanding what's really happening in Ukraine, and maybe they're going to start speaking out more.
You produced a documentary on the Crimean Tatars, the indigenous people of Crimea. How have they been impacted by the conflict ongoing since 2014, and how are they being impacted now?
Sure. Well, in 2014 was a disaster for the Crimean Tatars. More than 20,000 fled to mainland Ukraine because they feared being back under Russian rule, particularly after the Soviet Union, when Stalin deported nearly the entire population to Uzbekistan. And it was a mass genocide, basically. 46% of their population died through the deportation and in exile. They were happy to be back to be part of Ukraine after the collapse of the Soviet Union. But 2014, of course, changed that. And since 2014, Russia has been very much oppressing the Crimean Tatars in the peninsula, trying to abduct, even murder dissident Crimean Tatars who speak out against the occupation. Now with this war, this is another disaster for them, because as Russia succeeds in invading Ukraine and installing a puppet regime, where else are the Crimean Tatars going to go? They've been really working with the Ukrainian government to help get Crimea back to Ukraine. They're based in Kyiv, they're based in Lviv. If Russia succeeds in even occupying the entire country, including Western Ukraine, there's going to be very few options for them. And as a result, we're also seeing disinformation campaigns against the Crimean Tatars. There's an Instagram post going around basically slandering the top leadership of the Crimean Tatars in Ukraine as being Nazis, right? And of course, it's all false. So if Russia succeeds, I think the Crimean Tatars are going to be in another very, very precarious situation.
All right. Hey, thank you very much for your time, Christina Pashin, there, Assistant Professor of Journalism at Northwestern University.